Good afternoon. This is Randy Fling, and you're here with me on Tech Tuesdays. Today is our launch day. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to cover a whole lot of interesting topics that include everything from my guest here, my lovely guest, who I'll introduce in just a moment, to some privacy issues that people have and may or may not know about on their cell phones and other places that they go and come from. We also always bring you some good news from the African American community, people that are doing well, who are achieving powerful things in the technology space. So again, I'm Randy Fling. I'm a Georgia Tech engineering graduate, got a lot of friends in the space. I have been investing for the last 5 years in technology ventures. And as recently as 30 days ago, myself and a company that I'm helping in Detroit, we pitched the National Urban League at their national conference in Columbus, Ohio, and walked away the winners of $5,000 for their pitch competition. So I tend to go to a lot of local as well as national pitch events for the last, I'd say, about 5 years that I've really been deeply involved. So let me introduce my guest. This is Katherine Johnson. She is the chairperson, the 2018-2019 chairperson of NSBE, as we call it, which is the National Society of Black Engineers, the Atlanta Professionals chapter. Welcome.
Thank you, Randy. It's nice to be here.
Great. She is also a traffic engineer, and I know that most of you, if you're in LA, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Texas, we all have huge traffic problems. So in her day job, she's a professional, has a company that provides services to agencies to help them solve some of the traffic problems, come up with solutions, monitoring, and et cetera, to help out with traffic. So she'll give us some great information and let everybody know what's coming and the things that you can do to help as well to improve the traffic where you live. So, but what we always start out with here, and we'll always start out with every Tuesday, is good news. So I'm going to start with some things today. For those who do or don't know, there's a Hall of Fame for engineers, the National Academy of Engineers. So this year, which is very rare, there are 3 African Americans being inducted, and I think it's something we should all celebrate, share with our friends, let people know about some great technologists. So those 3 people are Lyndon Archer. He's a James Friend Family Distinguished Professor of Engineering in the Smith School of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering at Cornell. Dr. Gary May, who I can literally say is a friend of mine. He was the first African American dean of the Electrical Engineering School at Georgia Tech. He became the first black dean of the entire engineering college at Georgia Tech, and he's now the chancellor at the University of California, Davis. And the third person is Gabrielle Ejebe. She's the senior project manager for energy trading and markets for Open Access Technology International in Minneapolis. So it's a big honor. They do about 80 people a year nationally, and I don't know in recent memory that they've had 3 African Americans at the same time get inducted. So congratulations to those folks. Big ups. Moving along, good news. Jasmine Crowder, who has a company called Gooder. She's the founder of it here in Atlanta, and they're called Gooder because they do good things. They actually are making a real dent in in feeding people. It's probably the simplest way to say it. She's figured out how to get contracts with major corporations who actually have food that's already been paid for that they're not going to use, and actually bring it into the community in a large way and feed a lot of people. So it's very exciting. She was able to raise, through multiple VCs and angel funds, about $1.25 million that she closed down over the last couple of weeks. So that is exciting. We like to bring you the news about those who have done those kind of things. And for any of you that are doing those kinds of things or have friends that have done it, just please shoot us a note. Our email is tech, at rollingout.com. So please send us your good news that's happening in your community and the people you know about. Continuing on, Spoke Hub. They're a Durham, North Carolina venture. I had the pleasure of sitting on a panel with Robert Strickland, who's one of the founders, at Atlanta Tech Week last week. Big ups to Antoine and his crew. They did a tremendous job on that conference for this to be their inaugural year. I was super impressed, and they did a great job. But Robert and his team, they have brought, and as they call it, the first of its kind to bring a unique version of augmented reality to social media. Now, it's an exciting concept, and I've seen it, and I've already installed Spoke Hub. And by the way, I hope that all of you install Spoke Hub because it is a very good app, and it's kind of like Twitter for topics. So everything is built around a specific topic, but you're able to comment, interact, etc. What's exciting about Spoke Hub is they've raised $2 million. And they actually raised the majority of it from African American investors. So, I'm very proud of them, happy to say that there's nothing stopping people and that we really can do some of the things that sometimes people tell us we can't. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more news of that type coming at us. So, in line with good news, I want to tell each of you, for any of you who have an app that you've developed, or a product. It doesn't have to be an app, because a lot of people work in industrial or other situations where you've invented and created a solution. And if you've made it into a company, we want you to let us know about it. If you'll, again, send to tech@rollingout.com, we'll be allowing people to present their product and project for 2.5 minutes. And then I'm going to question you for about 2.5 minutes. And we're going to let the audience question you. So one thing I will say is please have a business plan. If there needs to be 2 people on the calls, you should have 2 people. If one knows the technology and the other one knows the business side. Because I'm going to ask you business questions. I'm going to ask you technology questions. And I really want to make sure everybody who sends the information in, sends a synopsis of their business, is prepared, because we're going to be hard. We're not going to take no prisoners. And if you're presenting and trying to be successful, you need to be ready when you call in. And this is open to people all over the country. So we're based here in Atlanta at Rolling Out. But again, I'm a member of you out there, my friends. I'll be looking for emails from you as well for the projects you have going. So we want to make sure that, and if there are 2 people, make sure you guys are on a conference line when you call in. And we'll give you that number via email if you're one of the people to participate. We're not going to have that segment today. That will be the final 20 minutes of each of our shows starting next week on September the 11th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time again. We'll be back here in the same place. While we're doing that, let's also talk about a few good groups. I mentioned Blacks in Technology. They have them in quite a few cities here in Atlanta, definitely LA, San Francisco, Minneapolis, and I'm sure it's a meetup group. So just go to Meetup and find the group nearest you if you want to find what I have found to be a very supportive group of like-minded individuals. I'll also mention some newsletters, and I'll put these on the site after the show. surthrive.co, surthrive.co. He has a great newsletter. I subscribe. I get a lot of good information from him. Hypopotamus is a good one, and that's spelled hypepotamus.com. Again, you can sign up for their newsletter, and you'll get good tech information on a regular basis about apps that are new, people getting funded, some in our community, some in the community at large. The Plug Daily, which you can find at medium.com. Well, I guess it's HTTPS, medium.com/the The Plug. They have a lot of great information there that comes from all over the place. We've got startupatlanta.com if you're in Atlanta, and Atlanta Inno. Well, actually, American Inno. That's INNO.com. American INNO.com. And then you can pick your city and sign up for that newsletter. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsors. You and I.
What up? This your man Richard, the radio on print, man. What free?
Shelby, I don't opinion in any way.
And that is what we do.
That's what I do.
This is your girl, Nicole. I'll be sitting in with these two, and we're going to have great conversation on Tuesdays at 2:30 on Rolling Out, Sucker Free with Rashad Ritchie. Great conversation.
Don't become the sucker of the week.
Do not become the sucker of the week. Can't wait to talk to you on Tuesday. Be there.
This week on The Kitchen.
Yeah. Kitchen. Yeah. Hold up. Tune in. All right.
We got Translate.
I just want to answer what y'all asking.
We got Gray. DJ DiBiase.
All right. Yeah. Hold up.
Chef Chrissy.
Yeah. Hold up. Tune in.
Porcelain Gold.
Wood. Lee. I think.
For the Grammy, yeah, I thought you know. The kitchen got the thicker than enjoy the show. Alright, well, that's the show, man. I thank y'all for coming. Then it was Thursday. Next time, I hope you join us, man.
God blessing me often. I'm still living in the apartment. I know they keeping my deposit. I got burn holes in the carpet.
All I know is old. All I know is bold. All I know is stoves. Look this out the door.
And we're back. You're here at Tech Tuesdays with Randy Fling. And the pleasure that I have today has been with Katherine Johnson, who has joined us. Again, she's the chair of the Atlanta Professionals Group for the National Society of Black Engineers. Let's talk a little bit about Katherine now. Let's talk about the Society of Black Engineers.
Great. Well, once again, my name is Katherine, and I'm the proud chair of the National Society of Black Engineers Atlanta Professionals Chapter. Now, our mission is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community.
Fantastic. Now, how did you come about that position? How long have you been a member?
Well, I've been a member since 2012. When I was in my undergrad, I realized that I didn't have many friends who were Black and engineers, and I really needed that support group. So at my college, the University of Georgia, I joined the founded group, and I became a member. And then after that, I became secretary, and I moved on throughout the position. And even after I graduated, I decided that it's very important that I'm a professional member, and that's how I was able to become the chair of the Atlanta Professionals Chapter.
Congratulations. For those of us who went to Georgia Tech, we didn't even know they had it at University of
stop.
Georgia. No, fantastic. Congratulations to you. I know you're a pretty recent graduate. You got your master's as well.
Yes, sir.
Very intelligent sister we're having the pleasure to have on the show today, so we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Great. How big is NSBE nationally? Do you know?
We
Have
are
an idea.
rather large. We have a chapter. We have about 6 regions
Okay.
that span North America, and we also go into the Caribbean and also certain sections of Africa as well. We're
Fantastic.
rather large.
So for those of you who are or are not in space but are looking at getting into space, there's probably a chapter near you, and you'll find professionals that are working at every major corporation that are members, as well as students. If you're looking for some students to help you out with the project you've got, NSBE's probably a good place to go and find some smart people that can help you potentially with the project that you may have. So, your day job deals with traffic.
Yes.
Again, a topic that we're all very familiar with if you're in a major city, and most of our listeners are. So, tell us, what do we have to look forward to? Oh, before I go there, you know, there were a couple things I wanted to speak on that relate to privacy. And one of it does relate to traffic and how you're going down the street and what's being seen or not. But we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, let me back up and just talk about privacy in general. There was a company called Bark that came out with a monthly subscription. They just raised $9 million, and they have a monthly subscription for, excuse me. Sorry about that, people. We had a little background music going on there, a chime. Okay, Bark. I think they're going to be a big company. They've raised some money, but they sell subscriptions to parents so that they can monitor their children's social messaging, their text messages, and their email for any cyberbullying that they may be receiving or giving. On the lookout for internet predators, depression, suicidal thoughts, and sexting. Now, some people think that's a little much. Some don't. I'm just curious if you guys, what you think about it, and would you buy such a subscription for your children? And if you were a minor, how would you feel about your parents monitoring that much? Again, most of the people that have done mass shootings in this country have given indications on social media prior to it happening that they might have some of these kinds of issues going on in their life. So, I guess the good side, or the possibly good side, is that anybody who can, discover those things and potentially prevent it is a good thing. But at what price as it relates to our privacy? A couple other comments on privacy. Verizon has come out with something called Safe Wi-Fi. There are other VPNs, but for those of you who don't know, VPNs are virtual private network. And what it does is whenever you're at a coffee shop or any public place, if you've got Safe Wi-Fi or some other VPN, your computer connects to that private network. So that even though you're using the internet of that coffee shop, your first connection as it leaves your computer is that virtual network that keeps you private. It encrypts everything you're doing, comes through their server, comes back out the other end encrypted, so that nobody at that coffee shop can be monitoring your passwords or other information that you're putting in, or monitoring your emails that you're putting in. So again, there's a number of them. You can just Google VPN, look at reviews, figure out what's good for you. The Verizon one is $3.99 a month, and you can put it on 10 devices. So in my opinion, it's a no-brainer, because I definitely recommend that you should have a VPN if you're using private networks, public networks, as you travel around, whether it's your phone connecting to them or your laptop. So next on privacy. Wow, SIM card swaps. People are now creating a SIM card that's identical to yours, and it can sometimes happen through the people at your phone store. The representative can give you a SIM card and make a copy of it, puts it in a phone. The network thinks it's you. They say, hey, I lost my password. Your password gets changed. Now they've got your email, which is where all your other password changes go to, or it goes to your number. And the other problem with your phone number is people use that for identification, and it's not a secure identification procedure. Them sending you a text. I don't know if any of you have and I'm guilty of this one because I have my bank text me a code every time I log in as what they call two-factor authentication. I think it is good to have two-factor authentication, but if somebody's got your phone number and a duplicate of your phone, it doesn't really solve the problem. So again, we're bringing up privacy and security because people generally don't think about it, but they should. Once if your identity gets clipped or anything, and I've known people, it becomes a major problem in your life.
Now, Randy, I have a question. What's
Sure.
a way to prevent SIM card swaps from happening on your phone?
SIM card swaps is one of the hardest things to actually prevent. Right now, you do want to, again, try not to use phone numbers for your authentication. If you're going to have a second factor authentication, phone numbers is the least secure compared to your email even. Because if a person, your email password already in there, but they'll have your phone number. The other thing I'll mention about it is like AT&T has